1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Yeah, there is no joy in Mudville, I'll tell you that. Man, all three of our teams went down yesterday. And you can just tell. Everybody sort of has, there's no smiles on the street. People on the bus are subdued. Oh, well. The good news is the St. Louis Cardinals lost, too, which brings us to our sister Susan in St. Louis. Hi, Suze.
Hi, this is fun.
Well, listen, if the Pirates keep playing like they've been playing, don't worry. That's all I got to tell you. We look very wobbly.
Yeah, I think you've got a wild card locked if you don't take the division. I mean, you know.
Well, it looked like but we can't get ahead of ourselves. I mean, we've got, well, we don't want to talk baseball, but we've got a very hard schedule left, ridiculously hard. I think we play the Reds 25 times in 3 days or something. I'm exaggerating only a little bit. And you got a bunch of nobodies you're playing, but of course that's who you lose to, so.
Right.
Who knows?
You just don't know.
No, but it's fun. We never get to do this. And then it turns out that we're going to be a lot like St. Louis and that we're going to have a baseball team that's better than our football team because the Steelers are going to have a very long season. Very long. Very long. I think they're going to get beat next week, too. They'll be 0-3. It's the Bears coming in, and the Bears are frightening these days. So, anyway, so for people who live and die for sports wins here in Pittsburgh, it's going to be rough to be a Steeler fan this year. It's really...
Well, but so turn your sights to your baseball team.
Right. But, the thing is, and I've seen this...
And then you got hockey.
Yeah, and the thing that I see is that once the Pirates, you used to go to a Pirates game, or at least I did, and there was no expectation they would win. And you still had a good time. And now, see, there's this expectation they'll win, because they do, in fact, win more than they lose. But this has not happened in 20 years. So, and now, when they lose, you're just sort of like, what? What? What was that? So it's almost harder if you have a team that you have these ridiculous...
It's very anxiety-provoking. It is.
If you just have these expectations, it is so much more relaxed to root for a team that's not expected to win. And I think when I grew up, do you remember me growing up, Susan, in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, vividly.
Yeah, you were in the room. The Packers were a joke until I was in high school. So I remember still we rooted for the Packers like crazy, and they just lost and lost and lost. But we had fun.
Well, just because it was fun.
Well, but once you get spoiled and you think you only have fun if they win, that's, I don't know.
No.
The psychology of it's interesting.
That's the whole point. And I just want to tell you, I am not the only person in St. Louis that is terribly excited for the Pirates.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
I was talking to a woman who is a real sports fan, and she was going, of course I want the Cardinals to win, but, I'm secretly sort of rooting for the Pirates. We've won so much. I'd like the Pirates to win.
I know that feeling.
I think a lot of people around here actually feel that way.
Yeah, I know that feeling too. Share the wealth. Yeah, you can be magnanimous because you guys win.
I honestly do. I've said this before. I honestly do think it's best for the game if everybody feels like they've got a fighting chance.
Yeah, exactly. This brings me to my one. I'm getting a serious complaint here. I don't know if anyone shares it or if this has infected your stadium. There is a new sound at the ballpark when the Pirates play. I've never heard it last year. I never heard it the year before. The year before that, it's never happened before. All of a sudden, our ballpark is crammed to the gills. It's sold out more than not, I think, these days, and so there's a lot of people there who are, as far as I'm concerned, Johnny-come-latelys, right? But welcome is what I think, because it just makes the atmosphere so wonderful. Except there are people, and it only takes a few of them, who are doing this annoying, unbelievably annoying, high-pitched, I don't know how to describe it, and let's see if I can mimic it. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth here, because I've never tried to do it. I want to kill these people. Woo! What is that?
It's from Ric Flair, I think.
It's from Ric Flair?
Yeah.
Well, stop it! Stop it! You hear these, and I can't do it. My voice is too low. It's this high pitched, sort of roller coaster like scream. They go, woo! What does that have to do with anything? It's an annoying sound. Sometimes when I'm listening, like yesterday, I was watching the game on TV and listening to it. You can't even listen anymore because behind the announcers, you're hearing that. Woo! It's apropos of nothing. It is just an annoying...
Well, it's probably apropos of several beers.
Well, we need to nip this in the bud. It should not be allowed. It is unpleasant to hear. It is also strangely, there's nothing strong about the sound. You want a sound when you're feeling like, let's go. You don't want it's a femmy sound, I want to say. Ooh. It reminds me of, ooh. What kind of a noise is that? Stop it!
On a more positive note,
what?
Having been at the ballpark recently myself,
yes.
I was watching these two little boys in front of me. Sometimes when you're sitting with little kids around you, it's not so fun.
But sometimes it's wonderful.
But these were two such nice, lovely, cute kids. It was more fun to watch them. One was about 5 and one was about 7. But every time the music started, these two little towhead, guys started dancing. And they were such good dancers.
Well, I think a lot of times, some of the greatest enjoyment at a baseball game is if you luck out and are around other fans that are entertaining in some way. There's a lot of ways that's possible.
In a way that doesn't disturb and take away from the game.
Indeed, like, woo!
Right. Well, these two little kids were so cute. So finally I said to their mother, I said, I can't help it. These kids are such good dancers. Who's the dancer in your family? And she points to their 6'6", sort of doofusy-looking, rednecky dad.
And he's a good dancer.
Uh-huh.
That's cute. Last time I was at a game, there were two old ladies sitting behind me. I couldn't turn and look, but boy, I wanted to, because they were classic. And their conversation was a riot. And I kept thinking, God, what do they look like? And I started naming them in my head. I thought one of them has to be named Harriet, I decided. And then, of all things, one of them says, Harriet isn't getting something, and I just let out a howl. So she wasn't named Harriet, but she had a friend named Harriet. And my friend and I we had the greatest time listening to these two. Oh my God. So, yeah, okay. Well, I'm hoping that there's two things that we have to keep out of the ballparks. The oohs, those people should be throttled and thrown into the river immediately. And also, I've encountered this twice at a game. Someone's bringing in one of those horrible things that the soccer fan, that vuvuzela or whatever. What is that? What is that? That horrible horn? Mm-hmm. Susan, do you know what that sound is? Oh, dear Lord.
Gosh, the
Cup,
they always...
Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. Deafening, annoying. It is the, horn equivalent of the woo.
You mean it's like an air horn?
Well, yeah, but not. It's a different pitch. Mm-hmm. It's almost as loud, and it's extremely annoying.
It's awful. I mean, and imagine how the people that are sitting right next to those people feel.
Well, the last time I was at a game when the vuvuzela, whatever that is, somebody started doing that, a lot of people, I was so gratified to see it, a lot of people were like turning and telling the guy to shut up. I mean, obviously that is one that's not going to be tolerated. But the, jeez, I cannot be the only one who wants to stop that. The problem with being a fan is you end up having to sit with a bunch of other people you don't know, some of whom are unbelievably annoying.
Right.
Okay, I'm done. But I'm surprised I haven't heard or read more from people annoyed by that. Ooh. I would think the Pirates want to shut them up. I would think the people, I don't know. What can you do?
That's what I always think. I'm always amazed that they don't want to enrich the overall fan experience so that nobody worries that they won't have a good time,
Well, it's pretty hard to assure that everyone's going to have a good time, but getting rid of obnoxious people, it's just...
Yeah, but they should make it pretty clear that if you're experiencing, something that's obnoxious, you go immediately to the nearest usher and they take care of it.
Yes, but it's a subjective call what qualifies as obnoxious. So that while I am driven to distraction by the ooh, other people might get a kick out of it, I suppose. And they should be shot immediately. Speaking of that, geez, Suze, I have nothing to say about the Navy Yard.
No, I have nothing to say. What's left to say?
Nothing. And I'm not going to engage. You know what? I'm not going to engage in the conversation anymore. I'm done. If we couldn't rise to have a...
We didn't care when we blew away all those children.
All the children.
So what do we care?
That's what I'm saying.
When we blow away grown-ups.
That's what I'm saying.
Who cares?
I agree. I don't care. I mean, I do, but I'm not. I'm done.
And the only thing that I would find interesting about this is there are an awful lot of people that had arms there.
That's my thought too.
To protect anybody.
That
is
correct.
It just served to rearm the guy. So other than that, I got nothing to say.
Yes, great point. That is the one thing that should be said. We have a caller. Hello. Hello.
You just got butt called.
Yeah.
You think I got butt called? Okay, well, let's hang up. We don't want that. Whatever that is. But Susan, that is so true. I thought, wait a minute. Here was an instance where there were people with guns that were in this situation. And apparently That didn't magically stop the gunman here.
No, he mowed him
In
down
fact,
and rearmed himself.
it
That's what
rearmed
happened.
him. It rearmed him. He took their guns. So the people who respond. Okay, I'm not even going to do it.
No,
We're not going to have a
that's
conversation.
the only thing I wanted to say. Let's talk
Thank
about
you.
something else.
Yeah, let's do it.
All the news yesterday was so horrific. Yay, they righted the cruise ship.
Yeah,
Oy.
no, but that was actually good. That is a
It's
marvel
such
of
it's
engineering.
Such an engineering feat. That's what's so incredible.
I was asking yesterday because I knew it was going on, and yet all our media could do was, of course, cover the latest shooting incident, which was happening at the time, and Colorado and blah, but this amazing engineer, they did it. I can't believe they did not know if this was going to work, but all of these people, they constructed things, they figured it out, and they pulled it off, literally and figuratively. It's off the reef. Unbelievable, the challenge that they had. And I wish I appreciated it more by more knowledge about physics and all that kind of stuff, so I could really understand. But even in my idiocy, I'm marveling.
Well, I think they had to tilt it to a significant, to a sufficient degree that they could then pump water into the ballast and allow gravity to do the rest.
The rest. But, the fear of it breaking up, the fear of all this kind... I don't know. The size of this thing is in terms of recovery in a situation like this, a maritime situation. I guess there's never been anything approaching it.
Well, no. Isn't this stupid thing like the size of 3 football fields?
Well, you
or
know what
something?
those awful ships look like.
It just awful.
God, I hate those things. Now, all these things I hate. I hate people who go, ooh. I hate those cruise ships. I hate
I
the
have
NRA.
to say, I am failing to understand who wants to be on one. I
don't get it either. Who does?
You're the number. It's like being in Egypt during the plagues. These places.
Well, it's like playing Russian roulette. When you board, you think, am I going to end up on the nightly news before this cruise is done, or
am I going to get a horrifying disease? Am I going to get marooned at sea for 5 days with no food, water, air conditioning, or plumbing? Am I going to die? Plus there's always constantly people that are just disappearing overboard. Or getting,
plus,
having some horrible crime whatever
right.
that word is, upon them.
Perpetrated. And also,
Perpetrated.
You're essentially putting yourself on a floating hotel with no escape, which with a bunch of people you don't know, and cheesy entertainment available, and I don't know. I cannot comprehend it myself. But who are we? Who are we to question? I was watching Jeopardy or something the other night. No, it was after Jeopardy. So what is that? It was on. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. And
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Eyebrow.
I'd like to buy an A. And someone won a cruise somewhere, and they said, oh, and you will be going to, and I thought, oh, geez, how do they even still give those things away? I want to see a contestant say, well, frankly, Pat,
I've sworn off.
I'll decline. Thank you very much. I appreciate the gift, but I'm giving it back. Okay. So, Susan, I told you about the big rubber ducky that's coming here, I think, in a week. There's already trouble. There's already trouble. The big,
oh, no.
Yes, the big 500, story rubber duck is coming, I believe, and will be floated down the Ohio River onto the Allegheny, where it will be moored. However, there's a guy here, nice guy, who's an artist and a cartoonist, and he also runs something called the Toonseum, which is a museum for cartoons and comics and stuff like that. And because the rubber duck is coming, saw an entrepreneurial idea in a way maybe to raise some funds for the Toonseum and himself. And so he had some T-shirts made, which have a rubber duck on them, and then a Pittsburgh kind of idiotic phrase, which says "quack an at." No reason for you to have to comprehend that. Anyway.
He immediately got himself sued, did he?
Oh, yeah. The Pittsburgh culture. Listen to this. The Pittsburgh.
That duck now has a copyright.
Yeah.
Or a trademark.
Copyright.
Or a protection of some
sort. Or thinks it does. So the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust, who this guy has worked with a lot because he's part of the sort of vibrancy of the downtown with the theaters and the this and that.
Right.
And all that. So he loves the Cultural Trust generally. The Pittsburgh Cultural Trust sent him an email demanding, of course, that he cease and desist from producing and selling the duck T-shirts bearing the phrase "quack an at." So they said that what did he? Oh God, this is so funny. The executive director. Wait. I mean. Oh, I can't find the funny little thing they said. Damn it. Oh, the letter.
I can't help you, Lynn.
I know. I got it now. The letter signed by Vice President Mark Fleming asserted that the T-shirts would compromise, quote, the brand of the rubber duck and damage the interests of both the Cultural Trust and the artist, Dutch artist Florentine Hoffman.
And that is sponsored and paid for by the League of Rubber Ducks.
Yeah, that's right. The Rubber Duck Project is the signature element of the Trust's Pittsburgh International Festival of Firsts, with the Ducks' arrival via river to kick off this big event. And, here, Susan, this will come as a big shock to you. The Cultural Trust, which is the region's largest arts presenter, plans to sell its own duck-themed merchandise during...
Oh, what a surprise.
Oh, I know. And I'm sure his T-shirts are really going to bite into those profits. And here's what the artist says. Hey, look, I'm a cartoonist, he says. I can parody whatever I want. Also to be pointed out, the rubber duck, Susan, you can visualize this artwork in your head.
I can.
And why would that be?
Unless they're gonna come and take the rubber ducky that's floating out of your bathtub and mine, and then demand that we pay them for copyright infringement, I don't think they have a leg to stand on.
How is it different?
They're already infringing on somebody else's idea.
In fact, the artist admits that he copied exactly a rubber duck that had been produced by a Hong Kong toy company called
That's
Tolo
right.
Toys.
You can't steal what I already stole.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the artist stole the rubber duck brand. That's why everybody's delighting in it, because what he added to it was size. That's all. But they interview a law professor who does say, he specializes in intellectual property. He says that even though the artist copied someone else's design, he can still hold a copyright on his duck. The enlargement of the duck makes it art.
That's fine, but he didn't enlarge it as much as the artist enlarged it. If that argument only works if this guy tries to put a 14-story duck on a T-shirt.
No, but I'm saying that the law professor is saying the artist does have claims to, because he created a new form. Well, I agree. I see what you're saying. Okay. But, I mean, I absolutely agree.
I'm just saying that then every time you make it a different size, that's a new piece.
Okay, so and then stop and think about this. So the rubber duck artist is the same as like Andy Warhol or Roy Lichtenstein. Lichtenstein appropriated comic strips. Warhol appropriated Campbell soup cans and Brillo soap boxes for their arts. Right? For their art.
Right.
I mean, artists are into appropriation.
That's right.
Well, so would an appropriator shouldn't get his shorts in
a
twist?
To appropriate something that's already been appropriated, it seems to me to be entirely appropriate.
So,
and honestly, I mean, just using that law professor's argument, you can distinguish the T-shirt.
Exactly.
The T-shirt is not a very large, a stories high, three-dimensional object. It's entirely its own thing.
The T-shirt designer, Joe Wass, says, look, I'm a cartoonist. I parody things. And he said, how can you own the rubber duck brand? He said, I'm assuming all ducks flying south will have to be rerouted because they're not allowed in Pittsburgh at this time. He also said, we do not view the rubber duck as a copyright issue. The rubber duck has been in the public domain as a universal symbol for a long, long time. And he says, I will not back down. I am standing firm. We are capitalizing, as everyone should, on the fact that there's going to be a big rubber duck in town. If you're going to make it pretentious and say, this rubber duck is art, he says, fine. Well, I'm going to make it pretentious and say, this rubber duck is about my freedom of expression. And he says, it's a big rubber ducky. Have a sense of humor.
Oh, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And as a matter of fact, actually a somewhat analogous case happened when a high school student here, I think I told you about this a couple of years ago, started creating a line of T-shirts and gym shorts with the logo South Butt on them.
Oh, right. Yes, actually,
and they got, of course, sued immediately by North Face, and the South Butt guy won.
He did.
Yeah, he said it was
because he copied their
speech, clearly parody.
Yeah, he copied their total look, the typeface, and he won that. Well, good for him.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this just in from Joe. I agree with you 100% regarding the noisy screams from overzealous and or intoxicated Pirate fans at recent games. While watching a game last week, a female fan continuously hooted throughout the game, even while the players were at rest. She was apparently close to the broadcast booth where the announcers were, and the noise coming from her was extremely annoying and distracting. Yeah. I don't know what you do. I don't know.
You turn around and ask them to be quiet.
Yeah.
You say, really? Are you really going to do that through the whole game?
It's one thing because now you have to be like wanded before you get in. And I'm not concerned about people with guns at the ballpark, frankly, myself. But, and maybe I should be, but I wish there was a way they could check for just, obnoxiousness. That's what I'd like them searching for. Not me bringing food in or a water bottle that's a little too big or an umbrella or whatever it is they don't allow. But why can't there be a screening for obnoxiousness?
I don't know. And just to be clear, we are not talking about screaming and hooting and hollering and cheering.
I do.
At exciting things that are happening, but simply sitting around screaming your head off to make noise and irritate those about you because you're in your cups. Hey, stop it.
Especially
Or
stop
the people
that
that are with
horrible
you,
sound.
Stop them.
Stop that horrible sound. Ooh, I can't even do it. If I could do it, you would understand why it is so mind-numbingly annoying. All right, well, I think I'm going to take a break now that I have released quite a bit of bile myself and brought you some news about the rubber ducky. We'll be right back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on gift cards from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, attractions, and shows. This week, 50% off tickets to the City Theater's Tony Award-winning play, Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike. Supplies are limited. Bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. Bergbargains.com.
When is grave digging hilarious? When it comes from the madcap mind of Martine McDonough, writer of In Bruges and The Lieutenant of Inishmore. Pick Theatre presents A Skull in Connemara, with Mick, the widowed gravedigger, Martine, his numbskull assistant, Mary Johnny, the pochine-swilling granny, and Thomas, the detective wannabe. You'll laugh your own skull off at this show, playing September 12th through 28th. Visit picktheatre.org or call 412-561-6000 for tickets.
Come to Little's for all of your back-to-school needs. Little's has everything for all ages to stay in style for this upcoming school season. Check out the large selection from Doc Marten, Steve Madden, UGG, Clarks, Lely Kelly, New Balance, and much, much more. Don't forget to come visit this season's colorful handbag selection as well. Little Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store, 5850 Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Here's something a little lighter for us all. I came upon this, of course, on the internet. It has to do with the Puritans and the names they named their children. Did you see this by any chance?
No.
Well, Puritanism, was a little odd in many ways, but they were very sort of, like no fluffery, no this, no that. They were rather stern and austere. And they often name their children names that would remind the child every time they were called of their sin. Can you imagine?
Well, how could the kid have sinned yet? By the
What
time
do you
they
mean?
named him.
Oh, excuse me, spoken like a Jew. You ever heard of original sin?
Yeah, I know, but then every kid would be named the same thing.
No, listen to some of these names, and these are... Well, they're not all about sin. They're just horrible. Anger is a name. Anger. Get this one. Die well.
That's nice.
Die well. You would name a child is born and you name it Die well.
Well, that's actually sort of a blessing, but go on.
Oh, my God. Here's one I cannot comprehend for the life of me. Fly fornication.
You see, these people are just nuts.
Fly fornication. Here's a poor guy who was born. His parents named him No Merit.
Oh, my God.
Or, how about naming your kid Humiliation? Because a guy named Humiliation Hind had two sons, both of whom he named Humiliation. On the other hand, some are about praising God. So, in fact, here's one guy's name, and a lot of people's names were named Praise God. And this guy, Praise God Barebone, what a name. Praise God Barebone actually was a member of Parliament And he gave the name to what was called the Bare Bones Parliament, which ruled Britain in 1653. Praise God Barebone. He had a kid. What do you think Praise God named his kid?
You honestly,
can't even,
I couldn't even venture a
no.
guess.
Well, here it is. If Christ had not died for thou hadst been damned.
That's not his name.
That is his name. It's all hyphens in between. If Christ had not died for thee, thou hadst been damned. That was Praise God's son.
What do you think they called him?
What would you have called him? Damned?
Porky.
It says here, for some inexplicable reason, if Christ had not died for thee, thou hadst been damned barebone, decided to go by the name Nicholas Barbon. Okay. Others, sorry for sin, forsaken, lament. Good God.
Well, you can go back then to see, but the trend in strange names, is hardly gone today. I was watching something on television the other day, and I had been reading about this, but an increasingly common name among young children is Adonai. People are naming their boys Adonai, which in Hebrew is
God.
Is one of the Hebrew ways of referring to God.
Well, my understanding is Adonai is a name that's used in Hispanic, so it's Latino that
much like Jesus.
Yes, because they do not. Yeah, they name their kids Jesus. They name their kids Elohim. Elohim, also Elohim and Adonai, which are both Hebrew words for God. And where because I came across that, and I think I shared that with you guys a while back.
Yeah, but I was watching a show. Yeah, whilst ironing, I was watching some HGTV show, and one of the kids in one of the families was named Adonai. Cute kid.
Adonai. Well, how does that sound? I mean, see, I know what that means, so I hear Adonai and I hear
it was just interesting because it kept being repeated.
It's probably a pretty
all
sound.
The time. And for the first half of the show, I kept going, is he saying Adonai?
Yeah.
And then eventually you attach it to the kid, and it just becomes the kid's name.
Oh my God. I came across another horrifying name right here. Let me find it again. Get this. Here's the guy's name. Kilsin Pimple.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Ew. Oh.
Ashes. And then there's...
I think you ought to call our brother. There's a book in this.
Probably. Free gift. Which brings me to an annoyance.
Free gift? Somebody was named Free Gift?
Yeah, it's all one word, free gift.
Well, but that's a positive, happy, thank you one.
Oh, yeah, there are some positive, happy ones, like jolly and liberty and felicity and hope and happy and prudence and amity and verity and trinity. They do have...
Okay, now wait a minute. So here's what I'm hearing. The girls all get these happy little light names, and the boys get these you're a horrifying, disgusting human being names.
You think it was just boys that got it?
Well, those are the only ones that you're saying.
Okay, but wait. No, here's one girls would have. Handmaid. Abstinence. Helpless. That sounds like a girl's name, right? Helpless. Or lament. Forsaken. Remember. What God will. I don't know. Good Lord in heaven. So anyway, if Christ had not died for thee, thou hadst been damned. The son of Praise God Barebone. Gee Willikers. There you have it. But I think Kilsin Pimple is the worst.
But it sort of has, if you say it the right way, Kilsin Pimple, it sort of has a...
Yeah, Kilsin Pimple. Kilsin Pimple. Jeez. All right, I think that's it. I don't think I have any more on that. Someone has written in, Chris, in fact, wanting to know if you happened to see Dancing with the Stars last night, because it was it didn't air here because of the stupid Monday Night Football game.
Well, do I have to admit? Yes, I did.
Okay, well, she wanted 2 questions. How did Valerie Harper do? That's what she wants to know.
She did okay, but I was getting aggravated by the end. You know, that if we heard about her brain tumor and how heroic she is and gave her a standing ovation, you know, she did well for a 72-year-old woman that shouldn't be standing there. But now they should just leave it alone already.
Well, that's not why she's there. She's there, so that's the narrative. What?
Right, that's right. And let me tell you, you've heard it about 6 times. They put her almost last, so that they could milk it for all it was worth. They also, much to my horror, have them dancing contemporary, as if they're, you know, a real dance show. And these ballroom dancers can't choreograph for it, and it all looks extremely stupid. So even I am thinking, I don't think I can do this.
Well, no, I'm sure you have better things to do.
Oh, and the football player can't even dance. So what fun is it?
Okay, how about Jess has one more question. How did Bill Nye the Science Guy do?
Predictably awful. He got the lowest scores of the night, and followed closely by the football player, and the girl from Glee also predictably took the night and scoring unheard of straight 9s. There's my review.
Okay, that's the review.
What about the guy from Pretty Little Liars?
Oh, for God's sakes, Jess! You could have talked to her before. Okay, one more. How about the guy from Pretty Little Liars? Do you know which one that was? Brandt.
Oh, he was the first one, and I didn't know who he was, but he was okay.
That's all you're getting. He was okay.
Middle of the pack.
Jess is in love with him. Okay.
No, he started the show. I know. I can even tell you what he was wearing, but nah.
PJ writes, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Does that mean every time Dad hits his finger with a hammer, all the kids run in? What? Well,
yeah.
If you hit your finger... Jesus, Mary, and Joseph! Oh. So he's saying if you were to name your kids Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, it would be...
How could you swear?
You'd be swearing, but also when you hit your... Yeah, I get it, PJ. Took me a while. And, he looked up this guy. Nicholas, unless Jesus Christ had died for thee, thou hadst been damned Barbon. Born in 1640 in London, died in 1698. He was
58.
Listen to that. He was a physician, an economist, and a builder, known for, I guess, coming up with the concept of fire insurance, economic theory, and some other stuff. So even having a name like unless Jesus Christ had died for thee, thou hadst been damned, he was a contributing, functional human being.
Well, because he went by Nicholas
Barbon.
Yeah.
Well, his dad was the member of Parliament. So, I mean, this was from a very educated family. But unless Jesus Christ had died for thee, thou hadst been damned. Oh, for God's sake.
I just don't think it was a real happy household. I have a feeling.
Jeez. I think we're going to take another quick little break. And God knows what we'll be talking about when we return.
Maybe he'll tell us.
Lynn Cullen live after this.
Les Ludwig, your independent, self-financed, clean candidate for mayor of Pittsburgh. You've heard the saying, same old. If we don't change what we're doing, we can only expect the same results. Let's look at what the Democratic Party leadership of your lifetime is asking you to do on Election Day. They want you to forget that they and Ravenstall have not lived up to minority contracts and the jobs involved in it. If government promises work and jobs and wants to leave it for the next candidate, will it ever get done? How can we trust Peduto and especially the leadership when they continue to act this way? Are they hiding something worse than Harper's misdeeds? Vote November 5th and remember, same old. Embrace change and work willingly with it. Think outside the party's box. Make Les Ludwig your mayor and join his march to clean government and keeping promises.
Does your furnace and air conditioning run nonstop? Are your heating and cooling bills too high? Contact Pittsburgh Foam Insulation. Their certified installers are ready to insulate your home using the best wall insulation products available, and the owner has over 20 years' experience. Pittsburgh Foam Insulation is locally owned and is not a franchise, so unlike their competitors, there are no franchise fees that will be passed on to you, which means Pittsburgh Foam Insulation is able to offer their customers a lower, more affordable price than their competitor. Call 412-856-6100 for a free, no-obligation estimate, or visit PittsburghFoamInsulation.com. This week's Pittsburgh City Paper Annual Fall Arts Preview is available now. Pick up one today for an in-depth look and an exciting season of arts and culture in the Burgh, plus Graham Nash, Rancid, The Lion King, and news of the weird. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, and on your smartphone with GPS-enabled listings at citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
All right, well, just show me something that brings up something I did want to say. Free gift. That's always annoyed me, free gift. Because a gift by its very nature is free, right? So why would people put the adjective free in front of gift?
Well, because our brother would argue that a gift by its very nature is not free, and in fact imposes some societal conditions for reciprocity. So a free gift would suggest that there was no such sense of reciprocity.
I don't think that's really why people say free gift.
No, that's probably for the same reason they say two twins, but I'm just saying that it's not as obviously redundant as you think it is.
Okay. Well, I hold in my hand an object. I don't know if people can see it. You can see the size of it. Susan, you can see. You're not looking, right?
I'm not looking.
Okay. It's about the size of a cigar. Yeah? Shaped sort of like a cigar. Only it's a sort of a plastic container with Velcro at the top. I open the Velcro. Inside is that silver, insulating stuff.
Yes, I'm looking.
Okay. And Jess told me this was a free gift she received from the folks at Sargento Cheese.
Well, it's from Influencer.
Okay, well, she does reviews online about things and gets free gifts for doing it. She did a review of Sargento string cheese. Mm-hmm. And Sargento so loved, obviously, her positive review that they sent her this. A
string cheese holder.
Yes.
A cooler.
A string cheese cooler. Who knew that such an object existed? Who knew someone perceived a need for...
Well, the better to keep your cheese fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you, I am dumbfounded. A string cheese? How much energy went into making this stupid thing? And I mean, how many hours were spent figuring...
Listen, Lynn, there's precious few jobs left out there. Somebody made some money designing the fabric for and the need for and the manufacturing thereof this mini cooler. It's for lunches. It's for your overly pampered child's lunch, which usually we just throw the cheese in and figure it would make it for a few hours.
Right. So here's the thing, though. So now in your remember our old lunch pails or a paper bag, which is what we use? Okay.
Hey, listen, I ate the hot lunch at Alloway School.
So did I. I actually look forward to them.
They were pretty good.
They weren't
bad.
bad.
In the kitchen making them.
Yeah, old ladies. So here's the thing. I mean, I'm sure there are kids now who have little containers for absolutely every food. What a lovely string cheese container. God. Jeez. You know what? I'm sorry, but that goes under the heading only in America. Don't you think?
No.
All right.
I think there's dumb things everywhere.
Well, I know, but it's indicative of.
Well, it's indicative of the fact, and now we're even proving that all of this, all of our hypervigilance is just downright bad for us. So, let the cheese get a little bit. That's how cheese is aged anyway. Guys, it forms mold on it, and then you cut it off.
I haven't cleaned my house in weeks, and you know what I decided? I'm doing myself a favor.
Well, to a point, Lynn.
I'm upping my immune system. So when something falls on my dirty kitchen floor and I pick it right up and throw it right back in the pot, I am helping my guests who, unbeknownst to them, are eating stuff off my dirty floor. Is that correct?
Well, not if you put it in your pot and boil the life out of it, because you've killed any beneficial germs.
All right, whatever. Anyway.
But if you take away all of your antibacterial soap, you'll be.
I don't have any of that stuff. I do not have.
I never bought Purell. I never did any of that. And I have to say, I am one of those people that before everybody routinely got flu shots, I didn't get sick.
Well,
I mean, now I get all my shots, but I didn't used to get sick.
Okay, PJ says, okay, the cheese holder is the end. That Velcro sounded like the seventh seal being opened. We are doomed. Noreen says, it looks like it could also be used as a tampon holder.
That's what Andy said.
That's what her boyfriend said. Just
Well,
say it.
we used to have those. Actually, that's
Susan,
what it looked like.
That was my gift from family.
No, it was not. It
You
was
are so
my
full-
gift from Aunt Dorothy. She sent me a little white.
I remember
beaded
the white
tampon.
bearded thing that looks exactly like a tampon.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get another. People will remember whose gift that
It was. Do you remember that?
You are
first? It was
making
white
off with
beads,
my
and it
child.
even had a little loop strap hanging off of its
Right, exactly.
cylindrical
No,
self.
it looked exactly like a tampon. Tampon. Yes, it could be a tampon holder. I mean, it could be used to.
It's a little deep. You'd have to line them up in there.
Well, jeez. All right. And here, I'm changing the subject. All right, here. Have you ever heard of Diane Ravitch? Diane Ravitch is a
I have. Why have
Okay,
I?
well, you have because she's an expert in education issues. She is a professor at NYU. She she's getting up in years. She's got 10 years on me. So she was here in Pittsburgh recently. She came in to speak to a big crowd of people who are interested in public education. And the reason she is such a powerful spokesperson for saving public education is because she served as Assistant Secretary of Education under George H.W. Bush. And she had been active in a lot of conservative foundations. And she was on board with all of the supposed reforms that the conservative think tanks brought us, such as charter schools and cyber charter schools and testing and all that kind of crap. And then she had an epiphany about 7 years ago. And that takes some guts. So she's already an old woman, and she thinks, wait a minute. Everything I've always thought, if I look anew at all of this, I'm wrong.
Yep.
We're wrong. And so when
Good for her.
Good for her. So she has a book out now called Reign of Error: The Hoax of the Privatization Movement and the Danger to America's Public Schools.
Duh. I mean, I have been screaming
I know you have.
for, I don't know, probably about 15 years now. Would someone please look at the kids you are leaving behind?
Well,
Because they outnumber the few that you're pretending to save, and you aren't doing any good with them either.
she calls all these things hoaxes.
They are hoaxes.
She says, it's a hoax. The No Child Left Behind Act. It's a hoax. She says the race to the top crap is a competitive federal funding program, and all these things have done is led to excessive testing, the misuse of results, and children not being educated.
No, being
That's
educated worse, because
Right.
there's taken every bit of creativity out and limited teachers to a group of standards and tests that somebody who's
Right.
not very interested in education made up. And I've been screaming this for years.
Yeah. Well, the data is pretty much in, and she says, you know, it's what turned her around. She said all you have to do is look at what is now a substantial body of research, and it shows that all of this craziness creates perverse incentives, including teaching to the test, narrowing of curriculum, and out-and-out cheating. And she said that using these test scores results in good teachers being fired, results in us turning away from the, you know, where our focus should be. She's particularly enraged at charter schools. Because she said all that's about, again, is taking taxpayer money and giving it to the private sector, giving it to big corporations who run these charter schools.
And check their results. Get none.
No results. No, get low
So now
test
you've
score.
robbed Peter to pay Paul's owner. Not Paul, but Paul's owner. You've just scraped money, tax money, and given it to some corporate CEO.
And she says, you know, the charter schools, the neediest students are excluded. They're not, and they're left in public schools that have been drained of the resources to do their job.
Shoot me now if I haven't been saying this for 15 years.
Well, I know, Suze. I mean, and I you haven't been alone either, but having someone of her, you know, of her reputation and doing this mea culpa and coming back around makes her very, very powerful. She says...
But let me just give you a real world example of how what she's talking about has played out. Given all of this stuff, in Missouri we have these rules about failed districts. If you're a failed district, the kids in your district can go to any other district, you know, around, and the school district that's failing has to pay for transportation.
Like they've got money,
to another district, and pay their tuition to another district.
I know.
So we've got two of those. They're paying out half their budgets to another school district, but 2/3 of their children remain.
It's an outrage. It's just an outrage.
It is an outrage.
And it's happening right before our eyes, and we don't stop it.
And you know, and no surprise, you know who we're doing it to. We are doing it to our poorest students. It's not the affluent suburb schools who are failing.
Oh, no. No, of course not, because we're an apartheid state now. We're an apartheid state. We give more to the rich.
So
we
obvious
steal from the poor and give it to the rich. That's what this country does now. And she says if you seriously want to improve public education, then you look at poverty and segregation, because that's where it starts, and we're exacerbating that by what we're doing. She's part of this effort, and I know a friend of mine here did it. I
think we build dorms. I think we take all the busing money. We provide the community infrastructure that these children need until they can grow up and repair their own communities. We have to intercede, period.
Well, with Republicans running state legislatures,
that ain't going to happen. But when you just the millions of dollars we've spent on busing children all over creation, leaving the children behind and doing nothing for them, and further making these communities deteriorate, and then we sit around and we blame it on the people we did it to.
I know. It is. It's just obscene. It's obscene. So what she's favoring, and as I said, a friend of mine did, is the called opt-out movements, where parents simply refuse to let their children take these tests. And if a whole district does it, the tests are gone. Hello?
Hi, I'm calling from the Pittsburgh Film Office. We're updating our media contact.
No. You don't want to be talking to me right now. You're on air. You're on air. Son of a bee. We're calling from the film office.
Well, at least it wasn't that damn. We're calling regarding your credit cards. There's nothing wrong with your credit cards.
Oh, Jesus. So anyway, she says, I would love to see entire districts say to the state, we're not taking the test. We're going to spend this time singing and dancing. We're going to make our schools places of learning and joy, not these grim test mills.
And gym back in.
Oh, God, help us from these idiots. She used to be an idiot. She had a...
And please, God, let's not explain to people why we need literature and a liberal arts education as well as math and science. Let's please try and remember the importance of being a whole person with a whole mind who can think critically because they've been exposed to all of the different things that the world has to offer. God damn, how do we get this stupid?
I don't know, but see, this is the stupid we're getting continues to increase. We're just getting, we're ensuring the stupidity of upcoming generations.
Well, we got half a country that's downright demanding it.
Uh-huh. Oh, God. Oh, well. So on that happy note,
I got to go exercise. You always put me in a great mood to go to the gym. Lordy, get me there quick.
Right. So you got all this anger. You can lift more weight.
Get me to that kettlebell.
Yeah, right. And imagine it being like Mitch McConnell's head. Right? All right. Suze, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. You guys, thanks. Tomorrow, it's Wednesday. I'm here. Hope you'll be too. Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.